Welcome back to our channel. Today we will be showing you a tutorial of how to make a rosary with pony beads. There are a few variations to our rosary. These three over here just use pony beads for the Our Father beads. These ones use a flower for the Our Father beads, and these two use hearts, and this was just chosen based on what we had available. This was one variation made with leftover beads. Two rosaries followed a color pattern and are made strictly of pony beads. Each of these three rosaries have an interesting Our Father bead from our leftover beads. All the rosaries we have shown and the one we will make in tutorial are perfect for kids. We will show you all the materials necessary and then get right into making one. Here are all the pony beads you've required. We've laid them out to the shape that the beads will be used in. This is the design that we are copying, except we are using the dark blue beads for Our Father beads, and the cross is a little bit different. For this project, you need 69 pony beads, 59 for the rosary portion, and 10 for the cross. For this tutorial, we will be using multi-use metallic craft cord. It looks like this. It's 2 millimeters, and it is made in Canada. And for most of our projects, we like to use the silver one, but we don't have enough. For the entire rosary, cut 280 centimeters of your cord. To be safe, you can cut some extra centimeters, like 300. We will start with the cross and go around like so. Start by folding your string in half and then holding the center of the fold. The first bead at the bottom of the cross, you put your bead on, feed the other end through, and then pull all the way to the end. As you're pulling it, you want to check that your bead is right in the middle. Fix if necessary by just like pulling one end, and you can tell it's centered if both those edges are lined up. Now on to the next bead, you're going to do the same thing, put it through on one side, feed it through on the other end, just so it's lined up with the first bead. This is what it should look like, and make sure that you have it quite tight. Now we are moving on to the third bead from the bottom of the cross. Just feed it through like so, pull both ends, and pull it all the way down to the very end so that it is in line with the first two beads, and make sure that it is straight. So now we've fed on the orange bead, which is the center bead, between the arms, just as the first three. Make sure it is centered and tight, and now we're moving on to both arms of the cross, which is the hardest part of the tutorial. So what you're going to do is take both beads that you've chosen for a single arm and feed both of them onto your cord all the way to the end. And once they make it close to the end, you're going to take that same cord and put it through just the first one. And you're just going to continue inching them towards the right spot, just like so. And make sure that it is tight. It's fed through, feed that same cord through the center bead. And that is how it should look like. Put that piece of cord on the side and do the same thing on the other one. So you're going to take two of your green beads, put them on the other side cord, them all the way into the end, and the one that is closest to the inside, put the string through and just feed it towards the cross. And once you've done that, put it through the orange center bead. Once you've done so, you want to make sure everything is nice and tight. Just pulling the cord. This is what the arms should look like. We're going to put on the next two beads of the cross with the same exact method we used earlier. So just put the bead on, feed the other end of the cord through it, and pull both ends until you get to the bottom. Make sure it is tight and straight in line with everything else. We're going to follow the same process with the next bead in the cross. Feed the bead on, put it through the other end. Also, it does not matter which end that you start putting the bead on because it's all the same. Makes no difference. And there we go, a finished cross for our pony bead rosary. Now we are going to make a knot. So just around your two fingers and through, the knot nice and tight towards the already tightened cross. There we go. We're gonna do one more knot near the cross just so there's a good amount of space. Make sure it's right beside the first one. We are now going to be putting on the first Our Father bead with the same technique that we used the entire way. So just feed it in like so and pull both edges so that it lines up with the knot. And you may need to play around a little bit to get it to perfectly line up. Once you've had it lined up, you can tie a knot. And this time around, with our knots, we're going to leave little spaces between them. We're going to string on 3 Hail Mary beads one at a time. Make sure it's lined up. Once you've strung on your 3 Hail Mary beads, you can make another knot. And that's how it looks like. There we go. Next we are stringing on the Glory Be after our knot, and we're going to make another knot. So this is how it looks like in comparison. We're going to make one knot, just like so. We're going to make another knot now, but we're going to make it up higher because we want to leave some space to finish the middle area like you see here. So leave 1 to 2 centimeters of space. We're going to be doing the decade. So you basically, after you string on the first bead, just string on all 10 with the same technique that we've been using throughout, and we'll resume the video. Another note, just make sure everything is in line. And we'll resume the video to show you the knots before the Our Father after the first decade. We have completed a decade, and now we're going to show you the knot again. So just a single knot around your finger. And move it as close to the decade as you would like. You can leave a little bit of space. And now we're going to put on the Our Father bead. So we've put on the Our Father bead and we're going to do another knot. You can leave a little bit of space. Make sure it's on quite tight though. Knot it around your finger, pull the cord through. There you go, and you can continue making all the decades. And we'll show some clips from us doing so. Here's our progress on the second one. Here's our progress on decade number 3. Always make sure as you're going to adjust each bead and make sure it's on tightly and going in the same direction as the other beads. Here is us adjusting the 4th decade. There we go. We have finished our final decade, and this is what everything looks like right now. So now we are just adjusting the final decade, and we're going to make a knot. This is what an almost completed rosary with all the decades looks like. Now you want to put everything nicely like facing the same direction, almost how you'd like your rosary to look, everything to be quite flat. You're gonna match those two up, those two ends, and then just tie a nice big knot in that space that we left earlier on. Pull it through, making sure that both sides are even. And this is what everything looks like completed. We've chosen to do another knot. Pull both ends of the cord through and tighten that in the middle. If you'd like, you can put any sort of medallion there or continue making knots until your face is filled. And then you just snip it off, that excess end. Instead of snipping it off, we're still gonna make another knot, just in case, and another one as well, because we like to be careful. And now you can snip off the excess and glue it. An alternative to glue is to use a clear nail polish, just as we had used earlier, and this will prevent ends from fraying. There you have it, a finished pony bead rosary. You can try some of our designs or even make your own. So enjoy making your pony bead rosary and also praying on it, because they're really nice to pray on. Thank you for watching our tutorial on how to make a pony bead rosary. Be sure to check out all of our other videos if you're interested.